Hello and welcome to In the Light, Growing Your Soul with me, Anna Isabel. And I am quite excited because my guest today is Tao Qazi. And the reason I'm excited is because the meeting of this gentleman is somewhat unique. Um, so there I was walking in Banstead Woods on one sunny day last March when all around me, I heard this magical sound. And I was hoping that I would stumble upon this sound. And I did. I found it. And I'm going to share the screen to share it with you. And so it went on, this beautiful magic sound coming through the woods. And and when we said goodbye, it was still wafting through the woods as I walked on. And I think I'll remember that for a very, very long time. And the lovely thing is that on the spot, I invited Teo to join me on this channel. But being busy souls, it is only now that the opportunity has arrived. So welcome at long last.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for meeting me in such a magical place. And yeah, thank you for allowing your body to find me, in the frequency, because I love sound. And as much as I work with sound, you know, I I work with myself with it. I'm taking my dogs for a walk, and my dogs know straight away that we're going for a walk when I put my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle suit on, and off I go. And I just, especially those beautiful woodland areas. For me, being in nature with that magical tool, the handpan, which I sort of call a magical spaceship, not only yourself, but the animals, the dogs, the squirrels, the birds, they all come. And in that moment, I'm able to really, really, really connect to nature. And it's just one of those wonderful things that I'm able to really have as my own, but in a way I get to share that medicine with many other people.
It's interesting that I found you playing this in the woods, and you were talking about the connection between sound and nature, and it's
Hmm.
just making me think of the role of music in nature. In mythology, in Greek mythology, I was thinking of a few a few stories that came to mind,
Mm.
and so this is quite a beautiful connection that we have there. So tell us about this beautiful instrument that you were playing.
So the handpan, from what I understand, has been around for 20 years. Where it originates from, I feel, is a little bit, some people like to say it's German, some people like to say it's Chinese. So there's a bit of conflict of where it originated from, but there's many places and people who are making this beautiful instrument by hand from around the world. And for me, about 20 years ago, I saw this band, which is called Hang Massive, which is probably one of the most famous handpan groups. There's just two guys, they're English. And they came across like we do on YouTube, and there they were playing in India, jamming together. And I heard that magical sound for the first time. And I said to myself, I'm going to get one of them. But, life happened, and I was spending my money here, there, and everywhere else. And I was still standing there. I'm going to get one of them. And a moment happened in my life, and I didn't just buy one, I bought two. And then when I had the instrument, I was like, okay, in my head, I'm going to be the best I can be with this. And I began, and like many people who start playing instruments, left and right hand and the brain and all of this is telling you you can't do it. You're never going to achieve this. but I just kept doing it. And I played, and I made a promise to myself that every day for half an hour minimum, I will play. And it never really works out half an hour. I'm probably sitting on it for about an hour to 2 hours without even realizing the time sort of disappearing. But I also reached out to someone because I thought, okay, I actually need some professional. I want to really step this up. So I had 9 professional lessons with this guy online. He lives in Spain. And wow, I'm so grateful to him because he really stepped me up to the place where now I don't even feel I'm playing it. I'm just a part of it. And when I'm working with people in or out of ceremonies, you know, it really just is just me and the handpan, but really we just become one. You know, if that makes sense. It's such a beautiful thing now because I'm not thinking, I'm 100% feeling, and the magic of this frequency really enables other people to feel and heal. You know, to keep them in a nice, safe place so that they can just allow the flow of the energy and almost have some releases themselves.
It's I think the only word I have for it is magical,
Mm.
but it's also, as you say, very healing. And we know that there is a link between sound and healing. Tell us about how you use sound for healing.
Sure. So I basically have understood very quickly that for myself, so everything I'm sort of teaching and able to practice with others is ultimately be my own path for myself. And I understood that sound was a big part of my life. And there were some good frequencies, you know, which didn't make me feel too good or brought up some past things. And there were some really beautiful frequencies that made me feel safe ultimately, made me feel calm, and to the point also that it had an impact on the rest of the day and also with my sleep. So I just started introducing myself to the drum. The shamanic drum was one of the first instruments after the handpan that I started really connecting with, because it's like having a relation. It's like you're connecting to a little bit more here. It's not just a drum. It's not just a chime. You're consciously connecting, and with that beautiful frequency, you get to really feel the magic, like you said, because I really don't think there's any other word other than magic or miracles that really happens when you immerse yourself with sound. So I now offer cacao and sound bath therapy for people privately and also in a community hall. And it's a wonderful thing to use. I stay away from the word I'm playing the instruments. I'm using my tools, and I can feel connected or pulled towards whatever that can be in that moment. And when people keep coming back to these ceremonies of sound, they're always like, it's always so different. And I'm like, yeah, because there's no playlist, you know, it's not, I don't have a plan, you know, I just feel I'm very, very connected to my heart and my stomach. And I already have an understanding of which instrument sounds what, and it's just a flow. And I really, really enjoy people who are very new to, first of all, cacao as a medicine, and also combining the sound together. I really enjoy virgins coming along who have maybe thought this was like a yoga class, they're just doing a little ticking off the box, and they really don't understand the power of the combination of the two medicines, to the point that they're having a deep, deep cleanse of emotion. They're connecting to their heart again. They're allowing themselves to feel safe, but in that moment, being vulnerable enough to do a little bit of work. And they keep coming back each week, and then they're learning more about themselves. And even the factor of the meditation being done for you, you know, it's such a wonderful thing to just lay, be held by your blanket, and allow someone to perform this magic of sound and just relax to the point that the frequencies do all of the work. You just need to be there, you know, with your breath. And that really is the only requirement, you know, and that's why I really enjoy it, because I love being of service. You know, I love doing this and helping people really ultimately help them help themselves, because that's really how all this, as you understand, this is really what we do, right? We're the teachers, also very humble to understand we're the students, but in turn we're just passing on this information, this energy for somebody else to understand like we did, so that they can do the work with themselves. And also it's so important that the word safety is there, you know, that people are safe in any of these modalities, so that they can really understand what it is that they are feeling.
So you've talked about cacao, which
Mm,
might surprise people, this
mm,
combination of sound and cacao.
mm,
And that's making me think of an interview I did coming up to 2 years ago with the wonderful medical astrologer and herbalist Marcos Patchett, who's
mm,
written a massive study of cacao, including its history, and then its virtues, I think would be a good way of putting it. So you're the first guest since Marcos to talk about cacao. Tell us
mm.
about your experience with cacao, because it's certainly not chocolate as we know it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's so fascinating how many people who can calm and then they smell, you know, because all of our body gets involved with, you know, the senses with smell and sound and so on. And when they first initially hear the word cacao and understand it's chocolate, they then go back into the inner child of the story around that. And, you know, I will always sit people down and explain a little bit more in depth. This is not a fancy hot chocolate. This is a medicine. And it's also a feminine divine energy, you know, and the purpose on the spiritual side of things, in a simple way of explaining, is a way of connecting to your heart. And when we allow ourselves to consume her, she will bring us out of this prison, which we lock ourselves in daily or weekly, and just flow back and sit into the place that I call home here. And when we can understand the physical side of things with the, you know, the, let's say the medical benefits of drinking and consuming cacao, there is so many doors you can open, from the immune system to the indigestion system, to be able to sleep better at night. And also, you know, it's a great way of getting caffeine out of your life when you can introduce cacao, because it gives you that stimulant that you need, you know, to think a little bit clearly, or to wake up, whichever is the struggle sometimes. So cacao as a daily ritual is a massive recommendation for me and many other people. But I have to share this. There's a lot of people here in England, who are serving cacao, who really don't understand the energy around what they are serving, because they haven't got the connection to the person who made it and where that was grown and so on. But also, on top of all those things, they haven't got the blessing to serve that medicine. So when you sit with, you know, not just me, but other people who have the understanding where this is grown, the you know, the ways around the exchanges with this, and also, you know, the person who is preparing all of this cacao with prayer and intention, and the power around that, and also the blessing to actually serve it. It's really, really important, because that's what you'll feel when you're in ceremony. There's many people who come and sit in these sound baths and drink cacao with me, and they have these very, very beautiful explanations of their journey in that little process, as if they've had a psychedelic. And they say to me after, have you put something in that cacao? Because I've opened my third eye and this and this happened. I'm like, no, it's just the cacao and the preparation and the intentions and prayer that's been put in that, and that's what you're open to feel.
I think we also need to stress that there is a long history of ritual associated with cacao, going right back to the Mayan civilizations that were cultivating it. So that this link between spiritual opening and cacao has been there forever. It's just been there for such a very long time. And it's only when it came to Europe that there was a severing of that link. And of course, then came the processing of the beans and the turning them into drinks that are very far removed from the way that it was originally prepared. So what you're doing is you are reconnecting with the ancient tradition that is associated with the plant. And it must be said that the first, accounts of Europeans, Spanish particularly, who encountered cacao and the cacao ceremonies were always surprised by the effect that it had on them. They talk about it being invigorating and nourishing and energizing. At the very least, that was their experience. So but it is not a psychoactive drug.
No, no. But it can be misunderstood because of someone's deep connection to that beautiful feminine energy, and people can question, like I shared, some people are like, are you sure? And I'm like, absolutely. And it is so wonderful to experience something what we conceive as a sweet, a luxury, but actually understand the depth behind that. And like you said, the ultimate word, and it's something that I am very conscious of and practice, is the traditional ways. We unfortunately here in the Western world tend to rip everything apart. We take all of that away because it doesn't sell, right? It doesn't sell well. And that's really my point of view on that. What's the point of that? Is because it's easier to dress it as this and we can monetize that. But that's not really how life should be when we're working with very sacred medicines. There is a way, and generally the only way, to really prepare and serve and be of service with this medicine to other people. And that's staying with the traditions, and staying with the teachings around all of this service, because ultimately you're also opening doors to the spirit world. And again, people will think, well, you're just drinking a cacao. How is this going to open any door? But it does. All of these medicines will help you really become more open to receive, these beautiful downloads. And people might be atheists. Some people, are new to this path of understanding the great spirit or the great mystery. But, when you sit with a beginning medicine of cacao, you can very slowly start having a little bit more understanding that there's something way more special going on.
You talk about this with a deep reverence and humility, which suggests that you are entertaining a perspective of alignment with nature and perhaps plant consciousness. So tell us how you got there.
To the understanding of what I am sharing was really because of the ceremonies I have sat with shamans. Being around the grandfather fire, sitting with some incredible, powerful male and female people, which are known as shamans, and being served some incredible medicines, from ayahuasca to San Pedro to peyote. And all of this has really opened my awareness. You know, when people say to me, do I have a belief in what I'm talking about with a higher power, for example? And I will respond now with, no, I don't believe anything anymore. I have a knowing. I know. And there is nothing anyone can do or say to me that will ever change that, because these medicines, these plants, like you said, are living. They have a spirit. They are literally going to teach us how to connect to this wonderful planet, Pachamama. We're going to connect to the birds, the beings. We're going to connect ultimately to this understanding that we are all one. And this has been my journey. I never came into this medicine world or being of service with sound with an understanding of the divine. It was something that evolved through my own personal healing. And there was many moments in ceremony around the fire in Ecuador, in a teepee, that I'd be praying for something to leave my body. I'd be praying for some peace. I'd be praying for some forgiveness and so on. And there would be a sky full of stars. And all of a sudden, in that moment when I needed that release, the thunderstorms would happen. There was just so many moments that made me really see the truth, you know. And from that time on, walking forward, there is no doubt in my mind that there is a great spirit and a great mystery. And I love it. You know, I love this path I walk, and, you know, to understand and develop that connection even more. You know, there's many things that I have to do on my path to really sit in isolation, to even have a more deeper connection with the relations from up above and down below and so on.
So here you are in England,
Mm-hmm.
miles from shamanic traditions,
Mm-hmm.
Ecuador. What do you feel? How do you feel you are bridging these two very different worlds?
So for me, where I'm at in my life is a beautiful place because of the developments I've done with myself, to the point that the family I'm a part of have given me a blessing to serve people medicines here in England. And, you know, this is a delicate conversation because, you know, a lot of these medicines are illegal here. You know, they're looked upon as parfaits. They even categorize this higher than cocaine and all of this demonic stuff. But I don't have any fear around what I'm doing, because first of all, the most important thing is my understanding around these medicines, to the point that I am bridging the gap for many people who are deep in addiction, who are literally hanging on by a thread, who cannot achieve that journey to go to the origin of where these plants are. Maybe because of finances, maybe because of fear, or maybe because they haven't got enough time left. So my purpose is to open the door for many people to take that leap of faith, so that I can offer this here in the Western world. Because, like I say, there's a lot of things that people would probably struggle with getting on an aeroplane. You know, there's many things that would limit this level of healing. So I am here doing my purpose, and every day being of service to offer, whether it be sound, whether it be just me, you know, just listening. There's many aspects to medicine, but also having the ability to offer different types of beautiful plants, because it's not me that is the healer. It's not me that is doing the work. It's the people that come, and their leap of faith is going to be rewarded with them having, you know, the understanding that they're the best psychiatrist, the best psychotherapist, and the best counselor that money could ever pay for. In that space, they get to do the work. And I'm very proud with the journey I'm on. I'm very proud with the hard work I've had to go through to get where I am today. And I am not afraid of doing what I'm doing here. I live very much with the connection to spirit, and I know I'm going to be okay and I'm protected. Whatever will be, but it's not going to stop me doing what I believe very strongly is the reason why I'm here, living this reality.
I think one of the issues that we struggle with is the connection that has been made between certain chemicals, certain substances, and addiction, alcohol included.
Mm.
And the problem is that we have over centuries severed the ritualistic and spiritual use of these substances, so that they are now used recreationally, and they are used, people are using them sometimes in the same way as Ouija boards, you know, to make connections with things, and there's nobody there to guide them. There's no sense of the sacred behind the use of these substances. And so this is why we have so much unhappiness and misery connected with these, because they're not being used, they are being abused. We talk about, you know, alcohol abuse. Well, that is exactly what it is, and it is exactly what it is for everything else. So I find your work to be a tremendous source of, I guess, inspiration. And I'm so pleased that I stumbled across you in the woods one day in March. How do people find you?
Well, that's the whole great mystery. So I have a website. It's my full name, taoqazi.com. I don't work with social media. I have a real problem with social media. I find it quite hurtful. So I'm very blessed that the flow of people come, you know, through recommendation. And that says a lot as far as I'm concerned. If people are talking the right songs, then there is never need to worry, you know, and I'm very, very fortunate that the people are coming and experiencing what they're experiencing, and they're sharing that love to other people. So I am reachable. I am easy to find. I also work in a community hall in Newark, in Banstead, every Monday between 11 and 12, and every Friday between 6 and 7. And that's where I hold my cacao sound bath meditations. And this then opens a comfortable space for people to, you know, share if they feel comfortable enough to talk to me, for me to, you know, explore that conversation and see what can be offered for their needs in that moment.
Beautiful. Well, I think that many people will not resist getting into. Thank you so much, Tao, for your time today.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and you're doing really good work, and keep it going, keep it up. And yeah, thank you again for allowing me to come and talk to you.
Thank you. I will be putting a link to Tao's website in the description box. And in the meantime, I want to also say thank you to you for watching and supporting this channel. Now, I have had reason to need to back up my channels that have been very happily sitting on YouTube due to a glitch in the algorithm a few weeks ago that meant that I nearly lost one of my channels permanently. Thankfully, it was corrected. So I am now also backing everything up and everything is going out on Rumble. So do please look out for this channel on Rumble as well and follow it to support me. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, goodbye.